Why do we live, knowing with absolute certainty that we will die? This is the question humanity keeps avoiding, distracting itself with noise, goals, and routines, yet it waits patiently beneath everything we do. From the moment we become aware of ourselves, death becomes an unspoken companion. We plan as if we are permanent, but feel an unease that suggests otherwise. Life begins without our consent and ends beyond our control. Yet in between, we are told to find meaning, purpose, and direction. The paradox is unsettling. If everything ends, why begin at all? To live is to experience separation. The moment you are born, you are divided from the world and placed inside a body with limits, needs, and vulnerability. Breathing, hunger, pain, pleasure, memory, and desire define your existence. Life gives you sensation, but also longing. It allows connection, but guarantees loss. And yet, without these limits, there would be no experience at all. A life without an ending would blur into meaninglessness. It is precisely because time is finite that moments matter. Death is not the opposite of life. It is the boundary that shapes it. Without death, there would be no urgency to love, to grow, or to choose. Everything meaningful carries weight because it can be lost. Every conversation matters because it might be the last. Every breath has value because it is numbered. Death does not cancel life. It frames it. It is the silent rule that makes existence precious. From a biological perspective, life exists to continue itself. Cells divide, organisms reproduce, and genes persist. Death clears space for renewal. Old forms dissolve, so new ones can emerge. In this sense, death is not failure, it is function. Nature does not cling, it recycles. Forests burn so new growth can rise, stars collapse so heavier elements can form. Even at the cosmic level, creation and destruction are inseparable. But humans are not satisfied with biological explanations alone. We feel something deeper, stirring inside us, a sense that we are more than survival machines. Consciousness asks questions. Nature does not answer directly. Why am I here? Why this body? Why this life? Why now? These questions arise because awareness is a strange gift. We are the universe observing itself, yet burdened with the knowledge of our own impermanence. Many philosophies suggest that life exists to be experienced, not explained. Meaning is not handed to us. It is created through attention, choice, and presence. We live to feel, to learn, to struggle, and to awaken. Every challenge refines perception. Every loss deepens understanding. Suffering is not accidental. It sharpens awareness and breaks illusions. Without contrast, there is no clarity. Death, then, becomes the final teacher. It reminds us that identities are temporary. Roles fade, achievements dissolve. What remains is not what you owned, but how deeply you lived. How honest you were with yourself. How present you were with others. How much truth you allowed yourself to face. Death strips life down to essence. Some traditions view life as a school. Others see it as a test, a story, or a dream. Regardless of interpretation, one pattern repeats across cultures. Life is an opportunity. Death is a transition. Whether that transition leads to nothingness, rebirth, or another form of existence remains unknown. But the uncertainty itself forces reflection. It invites humility. It demands that we live deliberately. Perhaps we live to experience separation so that unity can be remembered. Perhaps we die so that attachment can be released. Perhaps life is consciousness exploring form, and death is consciousness shedding it. In this view, existence is not a mistake. It is an experiment, a temporary expression of something timeless. Fear of death often comes from unfinished living. When life is avoided, death becomes terrifying. But when life is fully engaged, death loses some of its power. Not because it disappears, but because it no longer feels like theft. It feels like completion, a closing chapter rather than an abrupt erasure. So why live and die? We live to experience. We die to make experience meaningful. We live to become aware. We die to release what we are not. Life gives us the question. Death gives it weight. And in between, we are invited to pay attention. The tragedy is not that life ends. The tragedy is living without awareness of that ending. Forgetting that each moment is unrepeatable. Forgetting that time is not promised. Forgetting that being alive is already extraordinary. To live consciously is to accept death without surrendering to despair. It is to say yes to existence, even knowing it will pass. In the end, life and death are not enemies. They are partners in a single process. One opens the door, the other closes it. And meaning is found not in resisting either, but in walking fully through the space between them.